Hey, Nick, we need a tagline for the podcast.
No. Real life opinions. Movie reviews told by fans and not critics.
I feel like doing coming to you from the bowels of the database cameras.
Bowels doesn't sound good, especially with what Jeff's doing right now.
You know what? Better out than in is what my mother always said, Kay?
Yeah, I agree, except for when you're the one beside it. So.
It's fine. It's a big enough area. I apologize, and I'm going to listen to it afterwards for the acoustics. We're probably going to be a little echoey, but short-term loss.
Yeah, I promised a XY cable. Is that what they're called?
Just
XY
a Y cable.
Just a
Just a Y cable,
Yeah.
not an XY
There's
cable.
no X.
Huh, there's no X in it. And I'm just like, I have one. I'm going to bring it. How many weeks have I been saying that now?
Laura saved the day.
4?
I ordered one. I will drop it off to Corey.
Oh, technology. So, tonight's a bit of a celebration, eh?
It is.
Corey,
Yes.
so you said we're going from the bowels of the database. This is more of the belly? This is the underbelly?
I mean, your bowels are in your belly. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of, I
The
guess.
intestines.
It's all connected.
It's all connected, eh?
Okay.
But what are we celebrating, guys?
Day two.
Day two.
Day
yes.
2 of the database cameras being open to the public.
Illegally, mind you.
No, I got it this
You
morning.
got it this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was only.
And it was dated November 5th.
Are you
I was so
shitting me?
mad.
That is.
So, like, they couldn't have someone, like, walk it to you? Like, how did they ship it to you?
I don't know. I was so mad.
Well, you had to go pick it up, didn't you?
I didn't have to. I did.
So they couldn't even call him and say, "Hey, it's here."
Yeah, no. I just, on the way to work this morning, got it. So
You can't call it work anymore.
I know, actually, as soon as I said it, I'm like, nope, that's not right. This isn't work.
I mean, it's still kind of work.
No, because now it's the livelihood for his family.
Well, you know,
I mean,
let's see.
all work is livelihood for family.
Well, true, but okay, this is livelihood for your family that you own and should be enjoying.
Yes.
That doesn't sound
Except for
like it.
Staples.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't like drywall either.
Yeah. we all injure ourselves for work. Jeff, did you injure yourself today?
I stayed relatively injury-free today.
Wow.
Mainly because I had a doctor's appointment and took half a day off.
No, there
But
you
you
go.
know what? He's been slacking and he hasn't found my Ninja Turtles either.
I found it. You know what? I found the shredder the other day. I had a water break right behind the police department, and Shredder was in there. I swear to God.
I don't care about Shredder. I want the turtles, damn it.
I mean, Shredder is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, but
It
I want
was-
the turtles.
Tonight I
Especially
dine on
James
turtle soup.
James Avery being the voice of him. So
I want a turtle.
Any turtle?
No, it's got to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
You know what? If you look at the age of them, they're more like adults now. They're like at middle-aged.
like if they were tortoises, it'd be
turtles.
fine, but they're not
They're
tortoises.
not.
So.
They're not like what 2 inches anymore. They're
How did they fall on the age teenagers anyway?
because of the way that they developed when they hit the ooze.
Like, we all have teenagers. Would you trust them with the katanas and the bow staff and the
But
nunchucks?
they were trained from a very young age.
I don't trust mine with a match.
I've been training my kids from a very young age, too. I'm still not fucking trusting with a goddamn nunchuck.
I don't trust, and yet mine has 3 staffs.
Three staffs?
He has 3, but I do not trust him with a freaking match.
We have... See, that's a different kind of training. Now, you trained him not to use the staff as a weapon. There's a difference.
Sure, he missed that memo.
This is why the training goes so wrong.
See, and as somebody who was in karate for the amount of years I was, the weapons for the Japanese were all farming weapons retrofitted to be things like, you know, when they had the pole behind their back when they were carrying buckets of water there, that's where the bow staff came from. Mm-hmm. The sai there, like what Raphael has, was for rice, and even the
What's for rice?
yeah. And
Why?
I don't know. The nightsticks there, the whatever they're called there,
Yeah.
they were like grinders apparently. So
Huh.
yeah,
What about nunchucks?
nunchucks was just retrofitted sticks. Yeah.
So they have no cool intention other than just swing them around behind your head. And
Well, they were
smack
remember
yourself.
karate was a very defense first martial art, so they used their weapons they had to defend themselves against
Well, yeah.
whatever. They didn't go out there for offense.
But a nunchuck, all I envision is somebody swinging them around and smacking themselves in the back of the head.
Does anyone else have the mental image of someone trying to eat rice with size like chopsticks? Because that's what I have.
For cultivating the rice, like in the
I
fields.
guess that makes sense. It's almost like a hoe. But you would want something longer, though.
Yeah, and then maybe they were. I don't know.
What was the sword used for?
Well, chopping things.
I guess that makes sense in retrospect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made that too easy. I made that much too easy.
So no, the sword is an oversized steak knife.
No, then
And the side for the
the
horse.
size of the fork, yeah. That really tough steak in feudal Japan. But they're not good at cooking stuff. Look at sushi. They didn't know how to cook their steak properly. It was so raw, same with the fish.
I saw a meme. It's like I paid $40 for this fish and it was all raw. What is wrong with sushi?
Yeah, I had to cook it myself, right?
It's a delicacy. Hello.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
So we're talking about movies we haven't seen. And Laura was disappointed before we got in here. She's just like, how do I Google movies I haven't seen? Like, you can't.
They need to have a website just for me.
Dear Google, what have I not seen?
And that specifically, you guys, we laugh about it right now, but that specifically is the reason why I wanted to do movies we haven't seen, because I knew you guys couldn't cheat and try to Google it. Because I've seen your guys' list before, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go right off a Screen Rant, and then this is gonna be our list. So I was like, I knew you guys couldn't fucking cheat on this one.
Well, technically, I still could.
How? Like,
How is I have a husband and he just has to start listing things and I can
Just look up the
randomly pick.
AFI's top 100 and be
Right?
like, got it, need it, need it.
haven't seen it. Haven't seen it.
So I could still cheat.
You
I can
could
do it
still
right
cheat.
now.
Nope.
I can sew.
That said, I only have one that's really popping in mind, besides one that's in the theater now that I haven't seen yet. But
Well, so I will say this. Movies that are in the theater do not count.
I didn't think so.
They gotta be, so the premise is that it's a really popular, well-known movie that's got high acclaim that, I guess for whatever reason, you've
Okay.
never seen.
Pause this for 5 minutes. I need to go take a look at the video right after movie wrap.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
I have my movies.
It's like we never left.
Right.
Yeah.
The magic of the internet.
But I have my movies.
We had to take a quick pause and let Laura cheat a little bit.
I didn't even need 5 minutes. I only needed 3.
But in their world, no
And
time
it
has
didn't
passed.
happen.
That's like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen those. But
So
Good.
we were talking about a top 5, top 4, but we'll just go around the table. We'll discuss a movie that we haven't seen. I'm going to start first because, you know what? I can. Alphabetically, my name's first in the thing. Okay? Alphabetically.
no, Corey's is.
No, Barker's first before Menzel.
No, you're going last name.
Of course you go by last name.
No.
There you go.
No.
You go by
no,
last name.
No.
You don't go
No.
by first name.
Only if you're registering your car.
What? What? No.
Yes.
In everything. Like,
No.
don't you remember being in? I was always like the first or second person because of Barker, or the last.
Okay, getting picked last in sports doesn't count.
No, that was why I was picked last. It was because of my last name, okay? Because of my last name. So my first movie, and I was don't tell Mike this. I was really hoping he was going to come in here because I know he's going to be like, "What?" when I say this one. But my first one is Highlander. I've never seen a lick of the original Highlander.
That one doesn't surprise me. It honestly doesn't. Only because I think it's because you've mentioned it before.
Yes, it is one that I've mentioned. My first two are going to be two that I've mentioned before. And then the next two, you guys might not know about. So, it was never really my style, right?
Mine neither, but I did watch it, but I feel you. So.
And I love the series. Like Highlander, the series, I thought was amazing. I've seen two. I've seen The Quickening, or not The Quickening, The Gathering?
The Gathering?
Yeah. But I've never seen the first one, for whatever reason. And I'm told it's a classic, so.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. That one's the better one out of all of them.
Which is funny, because I had no interest in watching Conan, and yet I love Highlander.
Yeah, I feel like that's different, though.
Highlander has more action, I think.
You think it has more action?
And something with Gerger over there.
So, Conan's kind of what kicked this off. I guess, like, I've never seen Conan before. I wanted to see Conan. Corey, let's move over to you.
Jacobson's before Menzel.
Okay, then. Wow. Look who's got me on it.
Freaking duh.
But C's before L.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, now we're going by last name.
If you cannot start by last name and then switch to first name. It doesn't work that way. Because either way, I'd still be going second, no matter how you started
I need to go to my corner. Laura's being mean to me.
Oh, Muffin. He'll get over
Hi,
it.
Laura.
How are you?
I actually have a bit of a headache, but that's okay.
You'll live.
Yep.
So, my first movie is actually sitting on this table right now. I've never seen Meet Joe Black.
So good. So good.
But it's so long.
It's 3 hours on the nose.
3 hours on the nose.
Yeah.
It was an amazing movie. I'm with Corey.
It's the first 3 hour movie I ever watched, and the first 3 hour movie I ever watched that I literally could put it back in and watch it again right after it was over.
Really?
Huh.
That is in my top 5 dramas. So.
It's been so long since I've seen it. The last time I seen Joe Black, you had to watch it on 2 VHSs. That's how long it's been since I've seen Meet Joe Black.
Wow.
And I remember it being like super good at the time, it's almost weird looking at it on here. Like, look at young Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. Like, man, what a heartthrob back in the day.
And then there's Claire Forlani, which I only know her from Mallrats.
To go from Mallrats to Meet Joe Black.
Yeah.
Well, so you would think that I would have watched that one just because of Anthony Hopkins, but I've never seen it.
Really?
It's so good.
Highly, highly recommend.
One of these days.
We're not going to do a podcast on it or anything, but
Maybe.
3 hours?
not when my player doesn't do freaking
Okay.
1.5. So.
You know what? If he makes us do a 3 hour movie, he's definitely watching it.
Yeah, we'll work around this fast forward thing. We might have to trade DVD players. Maybe.
Yeah, you can
Maybe.
just bring yours for the tonight or whatever, but yeah.
Or Corey could bring his.
Oh, listen to that heater going in. I really hope that's not on our sound.
It probably is.
Oh,
Yeah.
it totally is.
Wait, silent?
Yeah,
Yep,
it's there.
sure is.
Yeah, sure there is. Wow, and now that we finally have like a studio space, we really blew the budget on the soundproofing in here, eh?
Yeah.
Cement walls, heater.
Yeah.
Oh, we're working out the bugs, people. We're working out the bugs.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Okay,
Corey,
so now it's Corey's turn.
yeah, what's your first movie that everyone's gonna be like, I can't believe you haven't seen that?
I mean, you guys might not have even seen it, but it's a huge movie. Casablanca.
You've never seen Casablanca.
Okay, she's...
Casablanca.
It's not Casablanca, it's Casablanca.
Casablanca. No, they say
I
Casablanca
know,
in
but
the
it's
movie.
actually pronounced Casablanca.
But they say Casablanca in the movie.
I know, but it's pronounced Casablanca.
One of my favorite black and white movies. That movie is so good.
It's very good.
I love like the noir style of movie. Maltese Falcon's on my to watch list, and I guess I've never made it through beginning to end Maltese Falcon, but it's like it's right there. And oh my god, why does the actor's name escape me in Casablanca?
Humphrey Bogart?
Huh? Yeah,
Humphrey
Humphrey
Bogart.
Bogart. Oh my god. the day of Hollywood with lead actors like that, they just don't do it enough.
I miss them. I never, wasn't around during that time, but I actually miss movies like that.
Well, and it's not some people claim like it's a love story, and it's not a fucking love story.
Oh, God, no.
It's a good, like, this mysterious woman comes back into his life, and he's trying to play Switzerland, right? He's like, I don't want any conflict. I'm got my own life with my piano bar, me and my little piano player, my best friend, and
Sing us a song, you're the piano man.
But, he very much becomes more like Italy closer to the end.
well, Italy was the bad guy in World War II.
Well, I know, but, what's the shape of Italy?
Well, like a boot.
Exactly.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. I
am just staring blankly.
My next movie that I haven't seen, and I don't know if I've mentioned it on podcast or not before, but The Godfather. Have I mentioned that before?
Oh. That's on my list too.
Oh, is that on your list too?
Yeah.
Neither were Godfather lists.
You two are deprived.
See, we'll talk about it together here, Corey, since it's on your list too, and I kind of stole it. Like, why haven't you seen it? Because I guess I don't have a good excuse.
I never cared for mafia movies.
What about Casino?
I haven't seen Casino.
Oh, I'm just stealing everything.
No,
off
I
your
didn't.
list.
That wasn't even on my list. I didn't even think about that. But then I saw Goodfellas because of recommendation, and I didn't want to watch it. But it's like, oh, you got to watch it. So I watched it. I'm like, holy crap, this movie's amazing. And then The Untouchables is just a piece of art.
Oh, The Untouchables is so good.
And so I don't know why I haven't watched Godfather.
Have you watched The Irishman?
No. I'm not watching a 3-hour Scorsese movie.
I feel like I've seen The Irishman, but it's not.
That's the one he put on for Netflix.
It's a very slow burn, but it is a mafia movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it did reunite De Niro and Pacino. Or Pacino? No.
Al Pacino.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I know it was De Niro, but I couldn't remember who the other was. So.
I'm trying to remember what movie, like, they had. I know they were both in the Godfather series, but they'd never shared a scene
No.
in that movie.
De Niro wasn't in Godfather, was he?
No.
Yeah, De Niro was not in The Godfather, but Godfather 2 was De Niro?
Oh, Godfather Part 2, he was in it for a few minutes.
Okay.
But De Niro was primarily Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm.
No. There was one of the Godfathers that was Al Pacino heavy, and then there was another one that was Robert De Niro
he was
heavy.
in both 2 and 3 Al Pacino, but the third one was Al Pacino heavy.
Yes.
Okay.
So
it must have been the first one that Robert De Niro was heavy. He must have played.
Well, Marlon Brando was the Godfather.
But does it not float back to the past or something like that? Isn't that how the Godfather works?
A little, but it does move forward, but it floats back a little bit. And no, De Niro was in Part 2.
Okay, which one was Pacino in?
He was in 2 and 3, but he was said heavy in 3.
They never. I remember it was a big deal when they finally had a movie together, and I can't remember what that movie was, but there was a movie. I want to say either late 90s or the 2000s, where he's like, Pacino and De Niro are finally on screen together, despite like working in this giant
And
franchise.
then in the 2000s, they made a movie called Righteous Kill that brought them together again.
So, Al Pacino, and yes, I am Googling, was in The Godfather Part 2.
Okay. And Robert De Niro was in Part 2?
Yes.
So maybe they just didn't share a scene.
Must have been, because I remember it was a big deal at the time.
And Al Pacino was heavy in Godfather Part 3.
Okay.
So Corey was right, but he was wrong.
Write it down.
He was right, but he was wrong.
He was right, but he was wrong.
Well, you know
What
what?
was I wrong about?
That De Niro wasn't in Part 2.
Oh, no, I just said I didn't realize he was in Godfather at all. So
What Corey mistakes is dates. Never ask Corey a date. That's what I've learned.
When was Godfather Part 2 made?
Oh.
At least he's being honest.
Yeah, so highly acclaimed as one of the greatest. I don't have a good excuse for not seeing it. I guess like it's just never been a thing. It never came up.
It was never one of those ones that you wanted to watch type thing.
Well, the opportunity never really presented itself.
Understandable.
Like, I
I'll
guess.
put it on here one day. I've got the Coppola Restoration 3-pack on Blu-ray.
That's a good one.
Laura, let's hear your next one that you haven't seen before.
I gotta dig in the pocket here.
You gotta dig in the pocket?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Laura's cheating.
40-year-old virgin.
How have you never seen the 40-year-old version?
You know what? I saw the commercials for that one, and the only thing that I ever remember from the commercials is when he's being waxed.
Yeah, that's what most people are.
Kelly Clarkson!
Right? And it was, see, I don't even hear him saying that part. It's just seeing him get waxed. It's like, I don't want to watch this. I don't care.
I don't know your thoughts on the 40-year-old version, Corey, but I felt like it was overrated. It was not as funny as I expected it to be. And I did appreciate the story in it. It actually was well done storyline, but I expected it to be like a laugh riot all the way through, and it was not that for me. Though there was parts that made me laugh.
I am 100% on your side.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Steve Carell fan, as you know.
I thought you would have ranted and raved
Steve
about
Carell is fantastic in it. Don't get me wrong, but like Seth Rogen was meh. The other friend there was forgettable.
Well, Paul Rudd. This was like an
Paul Rudd was
all-star
good, and
cast.
then,
Paul Rudd was good in it, or what? Serviceable.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is
serviceable.
actually pretty funny in it.
Yeah.
But the actual him going on the dates, I didn't find that funny, and that's the premise of the movie. So, but everything else, like his own personal stuff, is hilarious. But him going on the dates were just like meh. And then the whole, the girl that runs the I Sell It on eBay store, that shtick got thin really, really fast.
Oh yeah.
So it's almost like that one with Cameron Diaz. I can't remember.
Cameron Diaz?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it now.
It's reminiscent of The Sweetest Thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's reminiscent. I like The Sweetest Thing more than I like the 40-year-old version.
I haven't seen that, but I'm not losing sleep over that one. We have 3 copies here. So.
I haven't seen The Sweetest Thing in about 30. Yeah. A long time. Real long time.
Cameron Diaz is,
It only came out.
as adorable she was, is annoying. So
It only came out 20 years ago, so you was probably not 30 years ago.
Yeah, close enough.
Unless you rented it, traveled back in time 10 years.
It's possible. If I have to watch it more than once because I've fallen asleep, it's possible.
The only thing I remember from The Sweetest Thing is when the one friend gets lockjaw in the restaurant.
Yes.
That was funny, and I feel like, Corey, you would appreciate that movie. Like, it was a raunchy movie, but it was a girl raunchy movie.
No, she doesn't get lockjaw in the restaurant. It's in her house, but she has to sing to get it to work.
I thought the lockjaw happened in the restaurant. They had to get the EMS.
No, they get the EMS in, but what happens is it gets stuck on her tongue ring.
How do you remember? You saw it 30 years ago.
Just but no, it gets stuck on her tongue ring, and they get the EMS in, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to take you to the hospital." They're like, "No, sing, because it loosens the throat." And yeah,
I was expecting that twist to go completely different.
Oh, so Corey, what's your next movie? Now that I stole Godfather on you, sorry.
Again, kind of how like with 40-Year-Old Virgin, how I said, I'm a Steve Carell fan, blah blah blah. I'm a huge John Carpenter fan. I have only ever seen Escape from LA. I've never seen Escape from New York.
you're not missing much.
Oh, wait.
But LA was amazing though. So how would I not?
Okay, whoa. Let's back this bus up. First off, when was the last time you watched Escape from LA? Was it?
Years.
Yeah, decades ago, right?
He's not missing much.
Yeah, LA is not as great after rewatching, and New York is the better of the two.
Yeah,
But neither one of them are amazing movies. Okay, I'm just gonna say that I used to own Escape from New York, and I was just like, wow, this is so much better than LA. But
it's a low bar to climb.
Yeah, it was a low bar to climb. Yeah. And I remember loving LA when it came out, and I rewatched LA, and I'm just kind of like, this is not as good as I remember. This is actually kind of a terrible movie.
Yeah, it really was.
And if you've seen New York, if you've seen LA, you've seen New York.
Yep.
Basically, they're the same movie.
Just different cities.
Yeah.
Literally.
Different bad special
It's
effects.
like Die Hard versus Die Hard 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Die Hard 3 is a different movie than Die
No,
Hard.
it's a joke that one's in LA and one's in New York.
Yes.
Oh. I gotcha.
It's just like, Home Alone is pretty much unaccompanied minors.
Has it ever bothered anybody else how, like, Die Hard, oh, we gotta save a tower. Well, we gotta go bigger. Like, we gotta save an airport. Well, we gotta go bigger. We gotta save a city. Oh, we gotta go bigger. We gotta save a country. We gotta go bigger. We gotta save the world. And that's why there's no more Die Hard movies.
There's nothing left to see.
Yeah, unless they're gonna send him to save the galaxy.
I've forgotten.
Oh, so then they're
Good Day to
Guardians?
Die Hard already. So
Then they would be Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
I know.
John McClane his next step is to be a Guardian of the Galaxy.
Okay.
or the whole Fast and Furious in space thing.
Yeah. Oh.
Next logical step. Jason went to space. It's the next logical step.
It really is. A leprechaun in space.
Yeah.
My next pick for movie you believe I haven't seen, Leprechaun in Space.
You're not missing anything.
That's not actually the movie. That's it. So
You seriously are not missing anything.
I've seen a little bit of this movie, so it's a bit of a cheat, but I've never actually watched it. All I've seen is some stuff right about, not the midway point, but a little bit past the beginning, but before the middle. Scarface. I've never seen Scarface.
See, goes same thing with me with Godfather. I just have no interest.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is one I've never watched myself.
Oh, so have none of us seen Scarface?
Everybody's seen the Say Hello to My Little Friend, and that's
About it.
Yeah.
I have, and I mean, I think from what I hear, it's a slow movie. So
Man, like, I remember there was a time in the 2000s where it's like, oh my god, Scarface is the greatest movie of all time.
and all
You
those
gotta...
shirts everywhere. and-
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's
Everyone had that fucking poster. Every douchebag with cans of Mountain or Monster and the freaking backwards ball cap, everyone had like Scarface posters on their wall there for a while.
here. I thought he was going to say all the douchebags with mullets.
No,
No,
no, that wasn't a mullet movie.
no,
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 definitely not a mullet.
but that's what I thought he was going with.
I totally forgot my fourth movie.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, but Godfather was technically a share, so I really should have a backup.
You should have had a backup.
You should have.
Okay, let me think. Keep going.
Yeah. So since none of us have seen Scarface, yeah, I guess that's kind of a wash.
That one is.
Are we
watched.
putting Scarface on the podcast watch?
That's a long movie too.
Is it a long movie? I have zero idea how long it is.
We don't have it here either, so I can't even say.
You
so.
don't have Scarface here?
No.
I would have thought if any movie would have came through here, it definitely would have been Scarface.
No.
I don't even have any of the Godfathers. I just have the Blu-ray thing. That was from my sister. So
Ah.
The Blu-ray thing.
the box set.
The Blu-ray thing.
Laura, what's your next movie?
Napoleon Dynamite.
You've never seen Napoleon Dynamite?
Nope.
That's not a loss.
You know what? No. So here's the thing with Napoleon Dynamite. It's one of those movies. It's the Big Lebowski effect with Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay.
Because
That's
I had only seen it. I've seen it a couple times, not a lot. I was never a big Napoleon Dynamite guy, and I didn't care for it the first time I watched it. But re-watching was better. It wasn't, and I haven't seen enough time to be like, I fucking love Napoleon Dynamite. But it's one of those re-watch movies, and it gets better
See,
for whatever reason.
And if it's kind of a newer version of Big Lebowski, that would explain why I never wanted to watch it.
I think what's really funny is I couldn't stand John Heder in this movie, right? But yet, then he started doing other movies, and I absolutely loved him in every other movie he's done.
But this is an annoying role.
I mean, intentionally annoying.
Yeah.
So
But and it's not like the Big Lebowski at all, but it's like the Big Lebowski, and like the more you watch it, the more you like it, right? Like the Big Lebowski, I don't know, I didn't care for the Big Lebowski my first viewing of it, and then I watched it a second time, and I was like, well, this is actually really good, and then, it kind of became the thing, and Napoleon Dynamite kind of fits under that, right?
See, you look at the cover and it looks like an adult version of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
no,
even though it came out before those movies.
I know, but it still looks like an adult version of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Fun fact, you remember the Monster Squad, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember Uncle Rico in this?
No.
Yeah.
That is the guy who played the Wolfman in Monster Squad.
You guys want to know something? I've never seen Monster Squad.
Oh my god.
And you guys did
I'm
it on a
ashamed.
day when I wasn't around.
Oh
Well, don't
my
leave
god.
on us.
Huh?
Don't leave on us. You went on a date night.
No, I was camping. I was away camping.
Kind of a date night.
It's kind of a
And
date
like-
night.
Down in, wasn't High River. I guess south of Calgary. Was the next town after Calgary.
No, High River is just south.
Yeah.
No, but
Okotoks?
before Okotoks. I was in Okotoks. Yeah. So no, I wasn't leaving Okotoks to come do a podcast.
You could have called in.
Yeah, I've tried that before. It
Yeah,
sucked. Yeah, we're no more call-ins. That's not happening.
But yeah, I have to lend you that movie.
Yeah.
Cause yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. So
It's an awesome movie.
I had that movie on tape from Super Channel.
from Super Channel.
Super Channel.
My God.
My friend and I had our own little, we were going to do this type thing. And of course, lasted like one day. And then I had, I don't think I had the VHS, but I had the DVD. I have the Blu-ray. Like that one's right up there with T2 for me for the longevity for me. So
Really?
I wouldn't say like it's in my top 3 movies by any means, but it's got the longevity of Terminator with me. So
Well, we got to take a short commercial break here so Corey can figure out his 4th movie.
yeah,
Right?
I'll be back.
So, Corey, now that we've traveled into the future, did you figure out your last movie?
I did, and it's a movie that's had multiple variations.
Wait a second, this isn't your last movie.
This is 4 because technically with Godfather. That was
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yep.
But yeah, it's had multiple variations throughout the years, and I've probably seen every other variation throughout the years, but I have never seen the Alastair Sim Christmas Carol.
Really?
Yeah,
That is my favorite one.
Me neither.
1951. So
I never... Like, why see it? Why watch that when you can watch the Muppet Christmas Carol?
Right,
or
okay.
Scrooged.
Or Scrooged, right?
But Alastair Sim was a great Scrooge. He was a great Scrooge.
Was he a better Scrooge than Scrooge McDuck in a Mickey Christmas Carol? I bet you not, because his name is Scrooge McDuck. When you get a guy named Scrooge playing a guy named Scrooge,
Remember when they did like House of Mouse and everything like that, and Scrooge McDuck was on that too, and of course DuckTales and everything like that? It's actually been the same voice actor every single time.
no way.
Yeah.
Well, the new iteration of DuckTales is actually Doctor Who. The newest DuckTales.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Well, that would make sense, but now I'm trying to debate
Wait a
whether
second,
or
it
not
would make
Just Right-
sense that Doctor Who was Scrooge McDuck?
Which
No, that
Doctor
is-
Who, by the way?
No, it would make sense that the original guy that played Scrooge McDuck is not playing Scrooge McDuck anymore.
Well, yeah, but it is impressive that he did it for so many years.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now I'm sort of trying to debate if Jeff's right on whether or not Scrooge McDuck is better than Alastair Sim.
That's your debate.
That's my debate.
I was trying to be funny and witty.
I know, but
and
now
now you're
I'm
just
debating
like,
this.
was he right?
Is he right on this?
Although for the fact that it was a British tale set in England, Scrooge McDuck was Scottish.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Alastair Sim is still better.
You got me there. You got me there.
Yes, he does.
So, it falls under It's a Wonderful Life for me, which I have seen finally.
Okay, how was it?
So
I didn't see up until...
Wait, Laura?
You've never seen it? So you've seen the Alastair Sims Christmas Carol, but you haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life?
Nope.
It's not... It's a Wonderful Life is one of those movies that should be remade in today's time, I do believe.
Which is funny because all those movies of that style and of that time have been remade. Except for that
Yeah.
one.
And why it hasn't been is beyond me.
I don't let's see. Like, going through all of those ones. I've seen Christmas Carol. I've seen Miracle on 34th Street. I love A White Christmas. But I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life.
You know, I've never seen the remake of Miracle on 34th Street because I hate that little girl.
Oh, wasn't that Matilda?
Yeah.
Matilda.
Slash Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the original Miracle on 34th Street.
So good.
Yeah, but the remake was really good.
Yeah, no, it's a movie that like strikes me emotionally every time. It's
Because you want a house and a little brother?
no, it's one of the tears of joy thing, like when the
Yeah.
whole male come into the courtroom there.
Yes.
Like it's
Yeah.
I'm it's funny for a guy who worked so long and generally hates Christmas. I've got a soft spot for certain Christmas things that it hits me hard. Like it's weird.
So Corey just admitted he has a heart.
Yeah. Like Scrooge will make me cry every time.
Scrooge was a good movie.
My wife is a massive Scrooge fan, and she always said it was like her favorite Christmas movie. And it was one of those movies that took me a while to get into because I didn't like it when I was younger. And it's okay. But if I was to pick my favorite Christmas movies of all time, it probably not making the top 5.
Wait, isn't that going to be one of our topics in December?
Didn't we already do top 5 Christmas movies?
Yeah, we did
don't
Christmas movies and
remember
then we did bonus with like the TV shows,
Yeah.
like Flintstones, etc.
I don't.
See, this is the problem with doing these things too early on in our podcasting careers. Now it's gone forever. Gone forever.
If only we have a list of previous podcasts.
Oh wait,
Only.
you do.
We could always just do part 2,
Yeah.
but then we have to listen to the part 1 to make sure we don't repeat the same one.
I mean, okay, now I do remember because Flintstones Christmas Carol was one of my top 5.
So, what I'm taking away from this, if you want a movie to last the test of time, make it about Halloween. Or, not Halloween. Well, Halloween as well. But Christmas, because you've never seen Casablanca, right? Because it's a black and white movie.
Has nothing to do with that, but yeah, no.
Well, I'm not... how many black and white movies have you seen that aren't Christmas movies? Clerks doesn't count.
Yeah.
Clerks
Actually,
you guys are having a tough time thinking
no,
of
I'm
them.
trying to remember his name.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, the original Dracula, Swamp Thing.
Okay, so those could be Halloween movies, right? So like I did say Halloween as well, but I did say specifically Christmas. But Halloween was a quick.
I don't think
The Artist
I
was a
don't-
black and white movie.
I never watched it.
That
I don't
doesn't count.
think the
does not
the Universal movie monster movies. I don't consider Halloween movies
No.
really.
because they
It's a
don't
guy in
take
a
place on
costume.
Halloween.
Well, it's a guy in a costume.
So if
But
we're
it-
going to call Die Hard a Christmas movie, which it is, it
So
takes
is-
place at Christmas time.
So is Lethal Weapon,
Yeah.
Yep.
which Corey promptly put both in the Christmas section, and I love him for
I
it.
don't have Lethal Weapon because I don't have any Lethal Weapon.
Well, we'll make sure that you get
Oh, I
one.
will. It'll go there.
But Die Hard is
But
in,
Die Hard is in my Christmas section here.
so I love him for that. So-
So here is my last movie.
Yeah.
I guess
The
the
Passion
Passion of
of
the
the-
Christ. I have just zero interest
No.
in watching it.
No,
No.
You guys haven't seen it either?
No.
no.
No. But yeah. Next one.
I mean, it's supposed to be amazing, but it's shot in Aramaic. It's good for them for researching, but
Yeah.
if it's a dry movie, having to read it on top of that, and spoiler alert, he dies in the end.
I mean, okay, so yeah, it was dry, but so was Apocalypto. And
never watched
Apocalypto was not English either.
That was both Mel Gibson too.
Yes,
I have not seen Apocalypto.
I heard it was terrible.
it was.
It didn't look good to me.
It wasn't terrible, but it was very slow. Like, it was slow. It was very slow.
It looked kind of slow to me. Like it was not the style. Like I feel like that it could have been a really good movie, but there was just nothing that ever grabbed me about Apocalypto. And it's same with Passion of the Christ. Passion of the Christ looked like a boring ass movie to me.
And see, and anybody who's
It's based off a boring ass book too.
right,
Whoa!
it is based off of a boring ass book that has been rewritten how many times?
Yeah, it's.
You played the telephone game, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I don't know what's accurate in that book or not, but.
Only thing that stayed the same is Jesus dies on the cross.
Well, we don't. Nobody knows for sure what was accurate, what wasn't accurate. And, you know, for all we know, it was so long ago that this could have just been a story like the Odyssey by Homer, right? For all we know, that's what that book was supposed to be. For all we know, it was 100% accurate, factual. And nobody knows 100% for sure, right?
Have you ever heard Sean Manjumber? He does Just for Laughs all the time.
Yes.
I bet you I know him.
Yeah,
if
he's
I've
probably
seen
would.
him.
Anyway, he was like talking about and he talked about the telephone game and everything. And he's like, what if maybe his name wasn't Jesus, but it was Jeff? And he wasn't the Messiah, he was a masseuse. And people from all around Galilee would come and see him and say, oh, come see Jeff, he works miracles.
Oh, that would be great.
You need to send me that clip.
So, Halloween next year, Jeff's coming into Scouts as Jeff the masseuse?
Jeff
or-
Christ.
Jeff Christ.
Miracle worker masseuse.
And only Sean Manjumber would get it.
Well, I would understand now.
That reminds me of an Arrogant Worms song. That
Of course it is.
Yeah. Jesus Brother Bob. If you guys haven't heard it, Spotify it after we get it. It's all about like Jesus getting all these accolades, and it's like his brother Bob is just kind of like, what about me? And at the end it's like, oh, Jesus died and people can finally see who I am for who I really am. And then 7 days later he's rising from the dead.
You know, what always got me about it is, I know it's totally off topic, is why would Joseph and Mary name their kid Jesus?
Yeah, he had nice Christian names. he had nice. There's so many layers to that joke. He had nice Christian names like Joseph and Mary, and then you go give like an Islam name like Jesus to their kid. Like, come on.
I bugged this guy who worked once. He was a big Christian guy, and I said he had actually a picture of Jesus as his wallpaper on his phone. And I looked at him and oh, you have white Jesus. I said, why do you call him that? I'm like, because honestly, he was in the middle of the Middle East. There is no way he was white.
Yeah, Jesus was not white.
Like, he wasn't black like the whole dogma thing, but he was definitely brown. So
I don't think he was. Yeah, he's Israeli.
yeah.
Jesus was Israeli
Well, they say that
or Egyptian, depending how you look at it.
one of the places was it Bethlehem or something, is turned into Baghdad. So
Bethlehem turned into
I
Baghdad?
don't know if it was Bethlehem. It was one of the Christian cities that you hear about in the Bible.
Really?
And it actually was Baghdad. So
Now I want to know.
I feel like Baghdad's in the wrong country. Isn't Baghdad in
Iraq? Yeah.
And wasn't Bethlehem in Israel?
That's what I said. I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
Now I kind of want to know.
Well, before you get Googling on that, you do your Google machine, but you're going to have to tell us your last movie here, Laura.
Paper Towns.
That doesn't count.
It does so.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
You know why it doesn't count?
Because
'Cause
nobody's
you've
heard of
never
it.
seen
I've never fucking heard of it. You can't just pull a random movie off the
I
shelf.
can pick a
and be
lot
like,
of movies off the shelf
Yeah.
that
So
I
that
haven't
one was
seen. but-
actually very sought after when it first came out in the store.
I've never fucking heard of it.
Yeah, well, you're not a teenager.
I've never
either.
heard of these people in this. This does not count. Cara Delevingne?
Really?
Delevingne?
You've never.
She looks
Oh, wow.
Really?
She's a enchantress in Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Delevingne, by the way.
Yes.
Delevingne.
Cara
Yeah.
Delevingne.
She looks
And
familiar.
she's also
but-
in that space
Jam?
movie.
No, Mark literally just watched that
Yeah,
one.
it's
It's
not
about
that
the one
old.
with the little freaking
Life?
armadillo thing that spits out pearls.
What?
Anyway.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes, I remember her from that too. Valeria.
Yes.
I actually liked Valeria. It like had a lot of potential with the wrong two leading actors.
I think she is a cuter version, and I say that, a cuter version of Emma Watson.
She does really look like Emma Watson.
Yeah.
But you guys think that Valeria, if they picked a different leading actress and a different leading actor, that movie would have been a hit.
So I actually liked her in that one, but I did not like the leading actor.
I liked her better than I liked the leading actor, but I thought they were both a miscast.
Well, she's never going to win an award.
No.
She's not that good. But she does well for what she's given.
She's
so.
an amazing model, though.
If they would have had an amazing leading man in that, I could have forgave her in that role. But like the guy they chose, like, do you guys remember his name? Because he was also the Green Goblin in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, or Harry Osborn, not the Green. Yeah, he turns into
Hobgoblin.
Is he Hobgoblin in that
Hobgoblin was Harry Osborn.
one? Okay. I thought a Hobgoblin was oh my god, why can't I think of
Ned?
Yeah, Ned Leeds. Ned Leeds was
Later on. Not right away.
I always thought Harry took over the Green Goblin mantle in the comic books, and then Ned Leeds was the Hobgoblin. There's so many Goblin-esque characters now, because there's like, no, I'm sure Harry took over Green Goblin.
Now I'm second guessing. So
After Norman died, right? And then they resurrected Norman because Doc Ock wasn't doing it as the lead Spider-Man villain.
Okay, so if that one doesn't count, Jeff, I've never seen the latest Spider-Man.
Really?
like the one with the 3 Spider-Men in it. Really?
Yep.
Arguably
If
the best
anyone,
one.
yeah, I was gonna say if anyone to watch, it would be that one.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
If you would have said like I haven't seen the first 2, I would have been okay with it. But
Nope.
It might not be better than Spider-Man 2, but it's damn that movie's good.
it's not as good as Spider-Man 2, but it's a good for what it is, like having like the nostalgia factor, having everything like that. But as far as a well done movie, Spider-Man 2 is more better of a well done movie.
That moment that the Andrew Garfield gets saving the
Emma?
Tom Holland's MJ,
Yeah.
like, man, that felt so good.
Even the line with Electro there, where
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, now I'm just a nobody. You were never a nobody. And if you remember Amazing Spider-Man 2, he's like, I'm just a nobody. You're not a nobody.
I
And
know.
so they brought that in. So
I love how they acknowledge the Amazing Spider-Man movies were terrible, with some like good moments sprinkled in, right? Like the Amazing Spider-Man movies were like the opposite of Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 was a good movie with bad moments sprinkled in to make it bad. The Amazing Spider-Man movies were bad movies with great moments sprinkled in, right? So, and I stand by that, my Spider-Man 3 defending.
I'm not sure if I'm encouraged to watch it or if I'm discouraged.
Well, did you see any of the Amazing Spider-Man ones?
Yes.
It makes those movies better. Because it like, and I love how they didn't ignore it, because that happens so often.
Yeah.
Look at the Halloween movies.
yeah, the requels.
Yeah, where they just like ignore the bad ones.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man Far From, or No Way Home decided not to do that. Okay, I need to ask you guys before we wrap up this podcast tonight, a totally movie unrelated question. Who is Spider-Man's greatest villain? Laura, go.
Green Goblin.
Corey, go.
Between Venom and Green Goblin.
Between Venom
Or
and
Doc
Green Goblin.
Ock.
Yeah.
Doc Ock is Doc Ock for me. I almost forget about Venom sometimes because the 90s was all about Venom.
But it's either Green Goblin or Doc Ock for me.
It's always been Doc Ock for me. I like Doc Ock way more. I always thought he was a more complicated character because, like, even in the comics, I feel like he was more complicated and smarter than Norman Osborn, right?
No, he was just an insane smart guy, but
And this time he didn't die helping Indiana Jones getting an idol.
There is one Spider-Man villain we forgot, though. That is his true greatest one. The guy I'd pick Doc Ock, right, myself. But his true greatest villain?
himself.
MJ.
J. Jonah Jameson. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm
I
wrong.
mean, he does hate him.
He
With a
fucking...
passion.
He's
Yeah.
the greatest antagonist, yes,
Yeah.
by that definition.
He's created villains.
I love how
Like,
his response was MJ.
You know, I have seen One More Day, or have read One More Day. So yeah, I could. Oh, well, guys, it's come to that time of the night. Final thoughts.
We have thoughts on this?
I mean, it just shows that, you know, a bunch of movie nerds like us, especially like you take Laura and I, who are so well versed in video stores and had the chance to watch essentially anything we wanted for free, and there are still movies out there we haven't seen.
Yep.
If you out there in Radioland want to suggest something that you maybe think that we haven't seen that we should see, or maybe something that we have seen but you was worth a rewatch, we always appreciate the input, right?
Always.
Depends on the movie. But yes.
I think you should watch The Room. Nope.
Nope.
You know what? I'm up for watching The Room. I've never seen it, but I'm up for watching it.
I don't think anybody's seen it.
I have. I have honestly seen that one.
Oh, hi, Mark.
It's,
Do you say that to Mark?
You tell me.
Tell me you say that to Mark.
oh, actually, I don't.
He walks in the room. Oh, hi, Mark.
No, because, you know, there's some days where it's hi, hun, hi, dear, hi, dork. Like,
I have never used a term of endearment on Lisa. 25 and change years together, and I've never done it.
Yeah, you know what? You and my wife both. She's like you. She's a robot like you.
Yeah, I'm a soulless bastard, so.
he's like the Tin Man. We just have to pump some oil in him to go with that heart.
When you go home tonight,
WD-30.
give Lisa a nice soft kiss on the cheek and be like, I love you and I appreciate everything you've done in my life.
You don't have to say
Lisa.
anything. And then he ruins it all.
Honey bun. Honey bun?
Babe, hun.
Hun. I guess my wife calls me hun.
See,
Is
that's
that
a term of endearment.
I guess that's a term of
I
endearment.
say
That
that
is
to
a
Mark.
term of endearment.
I say that to Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You don't use hun, eh? My little fart muffin.
It's not far off.
So when Corey comes to the next podcast with a black eye, Lisa,
I called her my little boo-boo kitty fuck, and she didn't like it.
so just so that we know this, if Corey comes beat up, Jeff, it's your fault.
I don't want to give Jeff any more things to have on his shoulders.
He might feel bad about that slightly.
I doubt it.
Oh, I did it. Corey probably didn't tell you about the text I sent him the other day. I sent him a text like, oh man, like, you gotta make sure the store doesn't fail and financially ruin you, because a little part of me will feel like a little bit of responsibility and I'll kind of feel like a tiny bit bad at my tum-tum, and you can't have that. You can't have that holding it back,
No,
can you, Corey?
Don't do it.
Don't make my tum-tum feel a little inconvenienced, Corey.
Well, if your tum-tum starts hurting, I'll bring you a Roll-Aid.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm better with the financial collapse of Corey.
See, all I can say
Roll-Aid
is...
spells relief.
So all I can say is, at least between yesterday and today, he's made back what I spent on candy.
Well, that's good. And that's only 2 days in.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
So you made your candy budgets. So now
And a little over.
Yeah.
So now you got to work on rent.
Yeah.
And now that it's mutually beneficial for you guys, you shouldn't be having to put too much more money back in. Like, your initial overhead's gone.
No, I'm pretty close to tapped out.
Yeah.
And this thing was kind of like the last thing I'm spending money on. This gondola here. So.
But you know what? Now what doesn't help you this week is you opened and
School's out.
School's out.
Yeah, I know.
So-
I totally didn't even think about that. I was so pissed off. I was like, damn it.
Right?
Because that's where I'm expecting most of my money to come from, is school kids.
And
so.
that's where you're going to make the majority of your money. Like, even Alan said, if he was still actually in the high school, he'd promote the shit out of it.
Oh, I gotta drop off your cards at Rosebud, by the way. I know the guy that runs that place, and he said he'll hand out the cards because I'm just like, pot store, retro video game store, popcorn, yeah.
No.
I've honestly, I got pretty choked up with the amount of people that came in the last 2 days actually to see me. Like, I knew they would, but it's still just to see them. Like, between yesterday, Becky and Randy came in, Dave came in, obviously you came in, like, and then like today I had Roger come in, and and yesterday I got the gift from one of my neighbors here, and
You know what, Corey? I don't mean to get mushy on the internet or anything like that.
Yes, he does.
But we all of us, there's a large collection of people in this community that has a very soft spot for you, and we want success for you and for this type of business. Because, you know, would you and me be friends if not for Blockbuster? Like, I know we developed a relationship once kids are in Scouts, but Blockbuster is where you and me first had our bonding experience. When I was a sad, lonely, recently single guy looking for my lost place. And you know what? Walking to Blockbuster was one of the few solaces in my life that it was like a reprieve. It was like, I'm sitting in this big empty house by myself, feeling sad for myself, but I can walk down and have a chat with the guy at the counter there. And it brought me an escape. And it's same with you, Laura. Like, bringing the kids to the video store was such a cherished memory of mine when the video store was back open. And I probably wouldn't be as close to you today as I was if not for the video store. These are all things that, you know, in my opinion, has brought the three of us specifically.
Well, that's what video stores do, and that's like, again, I grew up in a video store. I was like less than 10 years old, and I was wandering the halls of video stores.
And you know, even for me, like I remember still being able to go into a video store and rent a DVD or a VHS player so that you could watch the damn movies.
I just remember there were winders in the store.
Right? And you know, actually, it's funny because when we cleared out Movie Gallery, I found the pile of them. And it was like, they never got rid of these. So like, but no, it is. Like, you know, even with all of us, I mean, yeah, Steven and Andrew were in a different school, but through Scouts, our kids became friends. But really, that wouldn't have held us. That wouldn't have held the three of us together. I mean, we've got friends in Scouting, but it's different.
You know, I think of the friends in Scouting that I've made that I don't talk to. Like, me and Catherine, we're great friends when we see each other, right? But I never talk to her on a regular basis.
Yep.
Aaron and Sean, you know, I love to go for coffee with Aaron and Sean, but you know, they left Scouting and I never go see them. You left Scouting, Corey, and you and me continued to still talk because we had this bond, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it's not to be all like Hollywoodish and everything like that, but it's kind of the magic of movies and stores like this, right?
Right, and it is. I mean, you weren't even open yet, and I brought my aunt in to take a look.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was showing her. I was like, well, this is going here, this is going here, this is going here, and he's going to have candy.
So you were the second person I met at Movie Gallery.
Yep.
Who was the first?
First was Susan.
Yes.
And then Brad. I don't know if I ever really talked to Roger at Movie Gallery.
So, funny thing with that one, like when Roger came on, he took over for the manager that originally hired me. And she left 3 months into hiring me. And then Roger came on and...
Look who she hired.
Right, I did better than her, obviously. I stayed. Right? But no, then Roger came on and it was... The dynamic changed. I mean, because like Roger came on, then Brad came on. Susan was still there. But everything was just different. Like, when Steve was there, God rest him, and, you know, it was just good. You guys know that Steve passed, right?
I don't know which one Steve is.
I think I vaguely remember Brad, but I don't remember.
Well, Brad is
Susan.
Dave's brother.
Yes.
So
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Okay, so you remember Mike from the video store?
Yeah.
Brad is not Mike's brother, he's Dave's brother. because everybody used to convince.
Really? I would have never called that.
Everybody used to think that Mike and Brad were
Really?
related. Yeah,
They look very similar.
they do.
Yeah. Yeah. I hardly remember the people from Movie Gallery because that was so many years ago, right?
Well-
And that was before I was sociable enough to talk to strangers. So
I came to Camrose with that one store in the mall there. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna bother naming names. But I wanted a weekend job because Lisa hadn't moved up yet. She was still in Red Deer. So I talked to a person my first person I hired at this other job, she worked at VHQ before, and she's like, "Oh, you should check with Roger at Movie Gallery. If not, check with Blockbuster." And so I, what's it called? I think I went to Movie Gallery and they're like, "Oh, we're not hiring." And then I dropped off a resume at Blockbuster, and then they called me and had the interview. And I remember hearing the story afterwards that they weren't going to hire me because I was overqualified. But then the other person's like, "Yes, but he came to us." So obviously, whatever. And so it was literally just a weekend job for me. And I think it was 3 months later, maybe it was 6 months later. 3 months later, I was a supervisor, just a weekend supervisor. And then another 3 months later, the assistant manager was let go because of whatever reason. And I said, "I'd love to take it." Like everyone told me, go for it. I said, "But I need to make what I'm making as a manager at this other job and what I was making weekends here." And they're like, "Okay." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That was easy.
Yeah. Like back then, as a manager of Blockbuster, I was making what I was making like years later. So, because they paid well.
That's good.
So.
Like, it's a shame, but that's
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say for me that I was, but it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy my job. And even now I do. For not wanting to be in retail anymore, I miss the people. And yeah, you get your snotty ones. You get the ones that you just want to stab in the eye. But
Paper cut their eyelids.
right. but everybody else made it with having the kids come in and the excitement because you've got this new movie that they're looking for, or you've got their favorite candy, or just a general excitement of them coming into the store.
I remember bragging to people about when you guys get a movie in early before its release date, and be like, "Yeah, I'm watching this on DVD. Ask me how, because it doesn't release for another week."
See, and we got lectured hard at Blockbuster, so we never did that. But I kept hearing how you guys kept doing that, and I'm like, "You can't do that."
Right? So,
They're like, "Oh, it's like a $10,000 fine and blah blah."
so we looked into it, and fun fact is the $10,000 fine is U.S. only. Canada doesn't have that law.
Yeah, and then when I finally had a good relationship with Roger and like met him, that was at the video store, and yeah, he would do the same thing. He would let me see things early, but he would like you couldn't use your
At movie
card on it. But yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you couldn't use your.
Yeah.
Well, we started letting people use their punch card. We really didn't care, but so
That
movie-
was more towards the end, though, because I remember being told the same thing, that I couldn't use the punch
yeah.
card.
But like we would at movie gallery, we were not allowed to let anybody take a movie out of the back. That's why they were under lock and key. But at the video store, yeah, no, we started it 3 months in. Like we didn't care.
Well, it was your store.
Yep.
But guys, as emotional as this night's getting, I can see the tears forming up in Corey's face there when we were talking earlier. I think it's time we call it a night.
All right.
There it is.
There's what is.
Yeah, what are you looking at?
Who are we looking at?
Stephen Allen Reed.
I do not remember that face. You think I remember a name like Steve Allen? Huh.
Yeah,
What happened?
I'm not sure, but I remember getting the call from Roger to let me know that he passed away. And like Steve was a big part. Like I met him at BHQ and then worked with him at Movie Gallery, and that was right when I moved up here. So, a long damn time ago.
I'm trying to think how long ago VHQ closed down. Like VHQ like came in a whirlwind and was
2007,
gone.
I think. I think 2007.
Yeah, I
Something
think
like
so.
that.
Yeah, because they used to be over by the old Humpties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Where
then,
House of Thunder was until they expanded. Yeah.
yeah, and then they closed down, and Movie Gallery bought them and shut them down. They shut down their stores.
Oh, was that when it went from Video Update to Movie Gallery when they bought them?
That's why, honestly, that was Movie Gallery's downfall. Is they're like, oh, I'm going to take over them. I'm going to take over them. I'm going to take over them. I'm going to take over, and then they're like, oh wait, we have no money left.
That was the start of their downfall. But what actually killed them was those stupid monthly plans.
You guys weren't in town long enough to remember back when VHQ was in. I think it's an insurance place now, right across from Panago.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You guys
I
remember?
think they're moving now too to
They
downtown.
they've already got their place downtown.
Okay. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I remember when they were like that little tiny building. Then they moved to that big one VHQ did.
Yeah.
And that place was like,
I went
Like-
to VHQ in Red Deer all the time, actually.
Yeah. But
But-
Jeff's been trying to kick us out of here. For
yeah.
like 10 minutes.
Let's go to bed, guys. Yeah. Keep your stick on the ice.
I gotta go back to work.
Get back to work, Laura.
I'm going back
Hey,
to
Corey's
work.
got to go back to work too.
Right?
Yeah.
He's gonna kick us out and close.
Yeah.
No, I'm closed.
But he's got to kick us out.
But I gotta run a couple
Oh.
blocks away, so.
Yeah. Now he gets to go to his second job.
Yeah. Lucky guy. Nothing like opening up a store and then working a second job.
Just think, you got 28 minutes.
I got what? I got,
All right.
Okay. Good night.
Have a good night.
Go.
Is that it?